Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today we are taking a look at my custom Lage Max11A1/15. It's a 5.56 upper for an M11A1 lower, and we took a look at the internal mechanism and how this works in the standard form yesterday, and today, well, obviously we're out here at the range to show you this custom one and to do some shooting with it. So a quick overview on how mine is different than the standard. First off, I have a 16-inch heavy barrel in it instead of the standard 10.5-inch barrel. I also thought that this would be an ideal place to use a Blk Lbl bipod. If you're not familiar with Blk Lbl, that looks like a sort of high-techy, fancy aluminum handguard. What's cool about it is that it has a built-in bipod, complete with some pivot, some swivel, nice bit of movement. We can actually loosen and tighten the amount of pivot and rotation. With this tensioning collar, the legs can extend out. I think it's absolutely perfect for a 5.56 light machine gun. Now this is of course magazine fed, which makes it a little more limited in its firepower than a belt fed gun, but we're going to have a variety of interesting mags like a Surefire and a D60 to play with here. Now continuing on, I went with the internal recoil mechanism for this gun so that I don't have to drill a hole in the back of my Mac, and so that I can put on a folding stock. So we got a nice side folder, just makes the gun a little more compact for transit. For everyone asks, yes, you can shoot it with the stock folded. No, there's no point to doing that. The internal recoil mechanism has a bit less adjustability to it than the AR recoil mechanism, but I have an adjustable gas block out here, and I've already gone through and adjusted the gas block so that it will fire single shots reliably on the lowest possible setting. That should give me the lowest rate of fire and the most controllable gun, the least excess recoil coming back. Lastly, I have a really cool optic setup here, and this is a Spuhr BAM, B-A-M, Ballistic Adjustable Mount here, which was developed for the Swedish military as a way to put an effectively use a red dot aim point on a light machine gun. The thing is, a light machine gun needs to be effective out to, say, 600 meters, but an aim point, like this CompM4, only has a simple red dot reticle. There's no BDC, there's no holdover or anything like that involved. So how do you deal with that? Well, first off, you get an Aimpoint magnifier to go with it so that you can actually identify a target out beyond 200 or 300 meters. So we've got that. This can flip over to the side if you don't want to use it at the moment, and it can also be removed completely with that nice little simple lock. And then both the magnifier and the Aimpoint are on a BDC cam. So if you come in here and look up close at this guy, it is currently set to 250, and I can lift that up to 400, 500, or 600, and what that's going to do is cam both the Aimpoint and the magnifier up a precise amount to give me a proper zero at 400, 500, or 600 meters. And the little green dots on there are glow in the dark so that you can actually see where you are in the dark. This whole mount is quick release. It is exceptional quality, as you would expect of Spuhr. I should also put out a disclaimer at the very beginning of this video. Aimpoint gave me the scope, or the dot. I bought the magnifier. Spuhr gave me the mount. And Lage, counter to my expectations, gave me the upper. I was planning on paying for that, and they didn't want to let me pay for it. So I did buy the Mac myself. So that's proper disclosures. Now let's go ahead and start with just a few rounds in semi-auto from a 20-round mag and see what I can hit. I have a spinner at about 60 yards. I have a pair of mini silhouettes at about 100, and then I have a paper target up at 200 meters, and I'm really curious to see what sort of hits I can get on paper in burst. So let's start with some closer stuff. All right, this fires from an open bolt. Lock that back. Put our selector to semi, and I should be able to hit the head on that mini Mozambique. we go. That is, by the way, a mini Mozambique, where if you hit the head, it'll fall down, and then if you hit the center of the chest, it will actually pop the head part back up. So it's a really cool self-resetting target. Now that I've knocked the head down, let's see if I can get it back up. That is, those are, by the way, it's like a 4-inch circle and a 4-inch square for those two sections of the target. There we go. The head came back up. Very cool, very frustrating sort of target. And at 100 meters, I think that's a pretty decent challenge with an open bolt gun. One of the downsides to this thing is that the trigger is really heavy. It is still fundamentally an M11A1 Cobra machine pistol trigger, and it's meant to be just grabbed and squeezed for dear life. Not meant for precise 4 MOA 100-yard shots. All right. I may want to close the gas one click at some point here. I did have a double on that last bit. Now let's go for some of the fun stuff. How about a spinner in full auto with a D60? Drive it over. Ah, cool. That is fun. Full auto on a spinner is always very cool. All right, now I'm just going to play around a little bit. Not that much though, because 60 rounds goes fast in 3 and 4 and 5 round bursts. I also have one of Jim Sullivan's 60 round quad stack Surefire mag, so that should run just great in this as well. Let's give it a try. Go. Oh, that is a little bit longer than my 30, so. I don't know how well you guys can hear it, but like those are all staying on that mini silhouette at 100. This thing is really controllable. The rate of fire is a little bit higher than I think I would prefer. It does go through ammo pretty quick, but it's pretty easy to keep it on target. I was wondering if this was going to happen. The Surefire mags have always had a little bit of a sketchy reputation, and we got one where it didn't quite feed up the back of the magazine fast enough, and the bolt caught it like this instead of square on. So, that may happen more now that we're at the end of the magazine, or towards the end of the magazine. We'll find out though. I'm gonna do the spinner again, what the heck. Yes. Ah. All right, so a couple things. I've dumped at least 100 rounds through this gun in this video so far. And the Blk Lbl bipod is warm, but in no way difficult to handle. So it's doing a really good job of protecting one's hand from the heat. Now, let's do a little bit of offhand shooting. So for this purpose, I'm just going to take the magnifier off, and we'll go with straight red dot. This will be a little trickier. Those are kind of small silhouettes out there. I may need to open my gas port up one more notch. When I'm lying prone, I'm giving the gun a really solid rest in my shoulder to recoil against. Standing, I'm letting it recoil back a bit more, and that's taking some of the energy out of the bolt, and that's why it didn't quite pick up a round on that last shot. And now, we're just out of ammo. All right, there's one more thing that I want to play with, and that is I want to put in, let's do 20 rounds on my 200-meter paper silhouette from the bipod and see how many of them I can get on that target using, say, 2 to 3 round bursts. All right, let's do this. All right, that's 20. It felt like this thing was tending to pull a lot down into the left. But who knows? Let's go take a look. Okay. So, voila! I hit him. Once. That could have been a lot better. Maybe kind of wish I hadn't decided to film this bit now. All right, well, in my defense, I have not actually confirmed my zero at 200. I zeroed this at 50 and figured, it's pretty much the same as 200, right? And maybe it is, or maybe I just need a lot more practice on light machine gun shooting. That is no way to go out for the video, so since you guys are expecting a mag dump anyway, I went ahead and moved our vicious bullet dodging silhouette to 50 meters, and let's see if I can actually get some rounds on target at 50 offhand in a single mag dump. I got a few more. That was a really awful performance. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. We had one before, so I got 4 out of 30. Clearly, this is something that I need to practice. It is an incredibly fun gun to shoot. You'll definitely be seeing it more. Unfortunately, you will not be seeing it in 2-gun matches because none of the ranges around here where we do 2-gun matches allow full auto on those official private ranges, which is a huge bummer. But that Lage is a lot of fun. It will be back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.